let me reenact my excitement for you. I got a BookBub deal. I'm so excited right now. I thought this would be a perfect time to make a video and share why the heck I'm so excited. Penny, your mama got a BookBub deal. Are you proud of me? Do you care? I thought this would be an amazing video to take you guys along on the journey with me. So, in case you don't know what a BookBub deal is, let me take you over to my computer and explain. I'm gonna set you right here. All right, first of all, what is BookBub? For those of you who don't know, really quick, in their own words, BookBub is a free service that helps you discover books you love through unbeatable deals, hand-picked recommendations, and updates from your favorite authors. BookBub doesn't actually sell books, they just tell you about the deals. So to sum up, they have a bunch of different newsletters for different genres that readers have signed up for with millions of subscribers that they email every single day with deals that are in that particular genre. So you don't use BookBub just any old time. You use it when you want to put your book either on sale or free. So you can follow an author on BookBub, like my page here, which I will link below if you're curious, but this doesn't like automatically get you the featured deals. In fact, there are actually 3 different types of ways you can have your book be advertised in that BookBub newsletter that I told you about. The first one is something called a new release alert, and so that's free for you as the author, and it should happen for every single author when they have a new book. Their followers on BookBub, right here, it looks like I have 38 followers. So every single one of those 38 people should, in theory, get an email from BookBub when my book is published, which is amazing. Amazon does stuff like that. Goodreads sometimes does stuff like that. So these new release alerts are totally 100% free. You don't have to do anything. The second way to advertise your books through BookBub is through their advertising page. So they literally have BookBub ads. Now, this is paid and it's guaranteed, but it's not guaranteed to sell. It's just guaranteed that you'll be in the newsletter. Just like with, you know, Amazon ads and Facebook ads, BookBub ads is its own special animal. It's very unique. The stuff that you learn on Amazon ads or Facebook ads don't necessarily apply. You're going to have a whole new learning curve. It's something that I did try out briefly a while back when I first learned about BookBub, but I'm not really a big fan of advertising on there. I would prefer to use the third option, which is called the featured deals. So right here you can see BookBub ads, which is where we were, featured deals, which is what I'm talking about now, and then the featured new releases, which is that guaranteed you don't have to pay anything, versus featured deals, they are not guaranteed and you do have to pay. So let me show you my featured deal page, because I did my very first BookBub back in February of 2020. So almost a year ago exactly. This was an international only and it was for fantasy, versus now I'm applying to the young adult list and I'm applying to all, like US and international. So this video we're going to talk about featured deals because it's one of those advertising strategies that I feel like are just not as well known. Like everybody knows about Amazon advertising, but nobody talks about BookBub. And I honestly think that for some authors, this BookBub strategy can be way better. Of course, the first thing that you're going to notice here on my screen is that you are not guaranteed to get it. It's not selected again. So I've only applied with the Stolen Kingdom 4 times, and actually this first one, the cover has changed on BookBub now, but that was actually with the original cover from the paperbacks. So these other 2 times that I applied, like I was kind of hopeful, but I wasn't, you know, hinging everything on it, versus now for my release of The Enchanted Crown, one of my biggest strategies was to get a BookBub deal where I put the Stolen Kingdom free for the first time. I'll explain at the end of this video why I am so excited about getting a BookBub and what my plans are for it and how I hope it will help my book series take off even more. But first, I want to just kind of walk you through this real quick. So to apply to submit a featured deal, you can just go to the featured deals tab and then you click submit a featured deal. And if you've claimed all your books on BookBub, they're all gonna show up here and you can go ahead and just choose the one that you want. You can see that the new release alert was sent for those books, and there's the new release pending approval for The Enchanted Crown. And going back to that featured deal tab, you can go into the FAQ section to learn a lot more about BookBub deals, but you can also click this pricing option, which is going to show you all of the BookBub list that they have, how many subscribers are on it, how many downloads the book typically gets if it's free or if it's discounted, and then you can go ahead and do some really cool math to see how much your sales might be. All right, I wish that the columns would stay at the top there so you could see, but just so you know, we're gonna look at the subscriber column right here, the first set of numbers, and then we're going to look at the average downloads for free books and the average discounted books sold right here, so the last two numbers. So in the past, I've applied to fantasy, which has almost 2 million subscribers. The cost, if you're doing free, is that much, and the cost if you're doing like a 99-cent sale is this much. So it's actually more expensive, almost twice as much, to do a 99-cent sale. And then all the way over here, this number is how many readers would on average download if it was a free copy, which is over 25,000 people. And then this number is how many downloads you can kind of guesstimate if you were to do like a 99-cent sale. Obviously, you're gonna get a lot less people because now they're paying for it. So let's go down to my category, which is right here. I, this time around, decided to do teen and young adult because I realized that fantasy can encompass adult books as well, but teen and young adult is going to be my target audience, and then hopefully within that there'll be people who specifically want fantasy for teen and young adult. So I've never tried this list before. I'm really curious to see how it'll go. It has 1,420,000 subscribers, and it's a lot cheaper. So if you're setting your book for free, it's $175, which is what mine was going to be. And then if you were to have a 99-cent sale, it would be right now $254. So over here, again, here's your how many people on average download if it's a free book is 11,800 people. So it's a lot less than the other list we just looked at, but it's still nothing to sneeze at. Is that the saying? Sneeze at? Anyway, if you were to put it on 99 cents, then the average downloads would be roughly 760. So now I'm going to show you why this is so exciting and why it's really important to either have a series if you're going to do this, or have a really good sell through, not just one book. It's not going to be helpful if you have just one book. You're going to want to hold off until you have more books out, and especially have a series, but also you could make this work if you had a bunch of standalones, as long as you have a good sell-through funnel, so to speak, where they finish one book and in the back of it, it points to the next book, and then that points to the next book, and so on. That sell-through is what's going to make BookBub so effective. And if you don't have books to sell through to yet, don't worry, eventually you will, and then this technique is going to be super handy. Let me pull up my calculator and I'm going to show you. So with teen and young adult right here, it said that your average, where is it? 11,800 people is your average expected to download a free book, which is what I'm signed up for. This is the number of people that they're giving me as a general expectation of how many people might download specifically because of the BookBub site. And that's not counting people outside of BookBub, because I'm going to be telling my newsletter, I'm telling you guys, I'm telling social media, I'm going to tell a bunch of other newsletter lists, I'm going to ask my author friends if they want to share. I'm going to spread the word about this free book sale, because I've never set the Stolen Kingdom free before, and the very first time you set a book for free is the time you're going to get the most out of it. So I really want to make the most out of it. So I've learned a lot about sell-through from Sarah Cannon and her Publish and Thrive publishing course. But the short version is that you can take your like sales in a month, for example, and you can look at that and see, okay, how many people are reading book one and buying it, and then also buying book two, and then out of those people, how many of book two people are also buying book three, and then out of those people, how many people are going on to buy book four, and you can do some math to figure out what your average sell-through percentage is. And if you know that percentage, you can then apply it to things like this, where you can take a number of potential sales and you can figure out what your potential sales will be for the rest of the series, because obviously setting a book for free doesn't look good by itself. 11,800 people download a free book. That's technically a loss if you look at it like that. But if you look at it as how many of those people go on to buy book 2 and then book 3 and then book 4, I'm going to show you the math right now. Let's take a look. I do know my sell-through for the other books in the series, but supposedly this is what Sarah teaches, and I've heard this I think one other place, is that you can't expect with a free book to have quite the sell-through you would have if people had paid for book 1, because the people who are grabbing up free books may not necessarily actually read them. So you can't see all 11,800 downloads as people who are actually reading the book, because probably like half of them, or way more than half, don't actually get around to reading it. So Sarah had quoted 10% are actually going to read the book and want to go on to the next book. So 10% is 1,180 people. So again, we haven't made any yet, but let's say these are the people who go on to buy book 2. And right now, I think the royalty for book 2 is roughly, I think it's $2.73. So now, out of all the people, that 10% who went on to buy book 2, I could potentially be making $3,221. Okay. Let's look at my book report, which is specifically Amazon sales. And I like to use book report because I don't have to do the math in Amazon. It's pulling all the data from Amazon and then telling me that data. So this is last month. Book report pulls data from Amazon alone, and it makes it a lot easier to read than trying to read it in KDP. Sorry, KDP. But it doesn't pull in Draft to Digital and Ingram Spark or website sales, obviously. So this is what I have to go on that's the quickest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on these 3 books. Okay, so to calculate sell-through, we're going to take the second book number, which is 19 books of the Ginny Key, and divide it by 34 books sold for the Stolen Kingdom. So that's a 55% sell-through right there. And then we're going to do the exact same calculation for the Curse Hunter back to the Ginny Key. So we sold 16 copies of the Curse Hunter. We divide that by 19 copies of the Ginny Key, and we find that the sell-through from book 2 to book 3 is 84%, at least last month. So that's really good. So I'm going to take those numbers, the 0.55 and the 0.84. Okay, let me make sure I'm doing this right, because I don't want to lead you guys wrong. Okay, so what I'm basically saying is that normally when people read book 1, about 55% will go on to read book 2, but when it's BookBub, it's not going to be that high, and when it's free, it's especially not going to be that high. So let's say instead, the Stolen Kingdom, it's not a 55% go to the Ginny Key, it's only 10%, and that's where we got our 1,180 readers. So let's take 1,180 who have read the Ginny Key, and I made that $3,221 from that sale. And then we're gonna multiply that by, what was it? Shoot, I should have written it down. Was it 88% or was it 85%? Let's say 85 because I forgot. So 0.85, and that is how many people go on to read book 3 in the series, okay? So it's less people going on to read, but I think it's roughly the same royalty, I'm pretty sure. So we're gonna say, we're just gonna multiply it by $2.73 again, and on book 3, I could make $2,738. So let's add the amount we made from the Ginny Key to that. And so far, on the next 2 books in the series, I've made $5,959 in theory. I haven't actually done this sale yet, so I'm just sharing with you how to kind of calculate what your numbers might be based on what they're saying here. And then I don't have a sell-through number, at least not one that's easy to grab from book 4, but let's say it's the same as the sell-through to book 3. I'm gonna write this down. Okay, so now I'm trying to remember our numbers. I think it was 1,003 people were reading The Cursed Hunter. So then I multiply that by, let's say just 80%. Although usually the further you go into a series, from what I understand, the higher the percentage gets for a read through or sell through. But let's say 80% of the people go on to buy. So let's say 802 people decide to go on and buy that last book in the series, The Enchanted Crown. And let's just say for easy math that again, I get $2.73 royalties for this book. Let's say they're all exactly the same, which they might be. I don't actually remember. So we're gonna multiply that, and then book 4 makes me $2,190. So I'm gonna write this down. This would be so cool. I hope this is right. Okay, here is, so you can see here that we have book 1 makes absolutely nothing. If we were basing our decision about whether or not to do BookBub on book 1, we would think this is not worth it. But when it comes to book 2, $3,221. Book 3 could make $2,738. Book 4 could make $2,190. And total, you guys, this whole sale, putting book 1 for free, could make my series $8,149. And that's just a guesstimate. It could go a little below or a little bit above, but can you see how spending $125 to potentially make over $8,000 is totally worth it? Even outside the expenses side of things, that's reaching a lot of brand new readers who might never have heard of your books and might be super excited about it. So like I said, it's really hard to get a BookBub deal. I've applied multiple times and not gotten it, but I have finally gotten a US and international BookBub deal, and I am so excited to take you guys along on the journey. So this is my page. They're sharing with me the date for the sale on BookBub is March 3rd. They're also going to reference again what category you got and how many subscribers, how many average downloads, what we just looked at on that page before. They're really clear, and I really appreciate this about them, so that you can do the math. You can figure out how exactly you want to plan. And obviously this number is according to their numbers, but if I'm also like using my social media to the fullest, letting everybody know, telling you guys, telling, you know, my best friend, my neighbor, my neighbor's dog, I don't know, telling everybody, then there's potential that it could be even more than this. And you can also see how the more books you have in a series, and if the sell-through is good, or the read-through, whatever you want to call it, if readers are going to continue through a full series of 5, 6, 7, 8 books, then you're going to continue to grow how much you can make in one BookBub deal. I am seriously so excited for this, and so I wanted to share this video right away, but then I also am plotting and scheming about doing a video after about how the BookBub did, or possibly how my entire release went and like my sales numbers for the whole release. And somebody had asked me in an Instagram poll, how long does it take to make your money back? Like, what is the ROI? I can't remember how they phrased it, but like, how long did it take basically from releasing the book to make your money back on that book? And I was like, that's a really good question. I wish I had done the math on this before, but I'm going to do it now. So I'm going to do that for this release. So I want to do a follow-up video on how BookBub does, and it might be a separate video all by itself, or it might be within like a video on how my release does as a whole. I don't know yet, but I wanted to share this video today because today the book is also free if you're watching this when it's coming out, and it's only free for a short amount of time. So I will link the Stolen Kingdom below if you want to get it for free and join me in this exciting sell-through process to see how it does. So yes, I am absolutely using BookBub, but I am also using all my other resources as well, obviously. The only place where I would say a BookBub is not that valuable is, again, if you don't have another book to lead them to. If it's just book 1, you saw how much book 1 makes, $0. So it's not worth it if you don't have a lot of books out yet. This is a long-term strategy. This is for indie authors who are committed. They're in it for the long haul. You want to make this your career. This is what you're passionate about and you want to make it work. Then once you've got a good number of books out, you can do something like this. And I have definitely, like I said, tried to get a BookBub before for a 99-cent deal, but this is the first time that I'm doing a free BookBub deal because I saved it intentionally for when all 4 books in the series were out. I wanted the full series to be available. I wanted to take advantage of that full 4-book sell-through, or 3-book technically, because the first one doesn't count. So anyway, I hope this was helpful to you guys. Let me know if you have questions in the comments, and if you want me to do a follow-up in some way, shape, or form. I would love to know if this interests you. And that's all I have for you right now. So I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye.